Welcome to the Government News Brief for Monday, January 11, 2016. In the news, Public Health Minister recommits to reducing maternal and infant deaths, youths now have a better opportunity to own a home, and government to expand engagement with citizens this year. With these and other stories, I am Azim Khan. The Public Health Ministry is concerned over a number of infant and maternal deaths. Subject Minister Dr. George Norton says most cases can be avoided and his administration is determined to reduce the rate. Shivani Rampersad reports.
The minister pointed out that he is still disappointed at the maternal-infant mortality rate in the country, noting that in most cases these situations can be avoided.
Maternal mortality, infant mortality in most cases can be avoided. A lot of it points to negligence, and this is something that is worrying us. It's worrying us because one maternal death is one too many. I've said it before. We have a system in place where investigations are being made and sanctions are taken. I somehow believe that we must improve on this. It cannot be business as usual for a doctor that is found to be negligent and cause whether it's morbidity or mortality of a patient. And we've got to either, do more training, do more supervision, get more experts on board.
President David Granger, recently commenting on the issue, stated, and I quote, "I want to be able to announce that maternal mortality rate is 0." End of quote. The minister said that this statement by the president should be used as an example with regards to the type of attitude that the government, along with healthcare workers, should have on the issue. Further, the ministry is working towards reducing this rate by improving the infrastructure at several hospitals, with the aim of creating more space and improving the quality of care offered.
We know that the doubling up of mothers on the beds at the Georgetown Public Hospital is a sore point. It is something that we do not want to even witness. It exists still. We went to Leonora Hospital, the cottage hospital there. We saw a maternity section that is totally abandoned in spite of the good beds and mattresses and well structured. That we're going to bring back in place. We also went down to Diamond to find out what the situation is. The fact that we're extending that maternity unit to add another 50 beds with about 20 incubator unit and so on. The fact that we're improving on Bartica, West Dem, and Saudi Hospital to improve the primary health care. We're looking at New Amsterdam. We're trying to get more gynecologists and obstetricians in our system. We are still worried. We have a far way to go, and we are working towards that.
The minister recently visited the maternal ward at Leonora Cottage Hospital to do a follow-up on the situation with regards to reopening the maternal health ward. For this Government News Brief, Shivani Rampersad reporting.
Guyanese can look forward to more interaction with government officials this year as Prime Minister Moses Nagamutu and other ministers will continue to engage citizens across the country. The government believes that this interaction is critical to the country's overall development. Details in this report.
The outreaches will be spearheaded by Prime Minister Moses Nagamutu, who's passionate about engaging Guyanese at the grassroots levels and believes that it is a necessity.
I love to rub shoulders with folks at the grassroots because, as I said, I came from there. You must always be reminded from where you came. Never give up the people in your own villages. Never give up the people from your own towns. Never give up the people from your own settlement. Go back to them. Listen to them, mix with them, be invigorated by them, be inspired by them, because they are the reason for our existence. Without the people, politicians are zilch, nothing, zero.
The administration is of the view that there should be constant interaction with the people in updating them about what is going on to improve their lives. The Prime Minister explained that all Guyanese should be a part of the decision-making and developmental process of the country.
Politicians have to be able to wake up and know that they are the servants of the people. And for me, I have no apologies for saying that. Politicians who lose tune with their people, they must lose power. They lose the reason for their existence. So I'm hoping in the new years that I don't have to crack the whip on any one of the back of my colleagues, but they all know that we are here because we were called to public service, and we have to go among the people all the time. So that's, for me, a recipe for a successful politician is to go among the people, be with them all the time.
Outreaches have already been held in Region 6, East Berbice Quarantine, and Region 2, Pomeroon, Supernam, among other regions.
Young people will be better positioned to plan their lives as the new Minister with responsibility for housing, Valerie Sharp Patterson, has announced a change in the criteria for home ownership. Shanta Gobadan reports.
The new measure will ensure young people a better opportunity to own a home. Under the previous system, as part of dealing with the national housing backlog, preference used to be placed on delivering houses, lots, and titles to married couples or single parents.
I would like to see our young people owning their own homes. We have a lot of young working people who can afford to own their own homes, and they're told all kinds of things. You have to be married, you have to have children. Why would I say to a young woman, before you own a home, you must have 2 children? What am I encouraging? I mean, it's nonsense. And I would want to see that removed.
The new minister is also keen on having the input of housing developers and banks as part of this focus of providing affordable housing to young people.
We have a lot of home developers around the country, and I would like to see in every region where it is possible for us to have that kind of facility, where these developers can make the homes available to young people at an affordable price. We have the banks, the commercial banks, building society coming on board and offering. These banks are very liquid. They have monies available. And offering to our young people affordable mortgages within their reach, that they can own their own homes.
Youth in the national development process is critical to the long-term survival of Guyana. Cognizant of this, the coalition government has been looking for avenues for their growth. To this end, the government has reviewed its various development programs with a view of enhancing and promoting new initiatives for social and economic advancement of youth. With this government news brief, I'm Shanta Gobadan reporting.
The coalition government has set the stage to develop a strong foreign policy agenda. This was done through representation at a number of international conferences. This year, such representation will be heightened. Glennon Greenwich reports.
Guyanese diplomats participated in CARICOM, Commonwealth, and other heads of government meetings, which served to further the country's international policy. Guyana also participated and contributed in a prominent way by being part of, chairing, or organizing international meetings such as the post-2015 economic agenda, where Ambassador George Talbot was a significant player.
You've had issues on Mercosur, which has to do with the regional integration movement outside of CARICOM. There have also been issues pertaining to WTO and the trade obligations of Guyana, answering to the WTO as to why certain obligations hadn't been met when they would be met, answering questions raised by our trading partners as to how we propose to deal with issues on the trade cooperation front. And we have also, of course, worked in the context of the European Union and the African, Caribbean, and Pacific group of states with whom we collaborate and pursue a number of issues, including the Economic Partnership Agreement arrangements.
The end of 2015 also saw participation at major international events which proved most important on the international sphere, the first being the WTO round, which was an attempt to conclude the Doha round by trying to put in place a framework that will see the removal of trade barriers. This framework would be removed in a way that will give priority to the requirements as outlined by developing countries.
At the same time, December saw the conference on the environment, which was an area in which Secretary General Ban Ki-moon of of the United Nations played a critical role, and in which Guyana has very important interests. And we were doing a lot of work in that regard in the context of our officers at the UN level, and we contributed to the preparation and also the negotiations in Paris.
The administration believes that improved international cooperation with countries in the north and with its neighbors can enhance its position internationally. This year, representation internationally will heighten. With this government news brief, I am Glendon Greenidge.
The Ministry of Communities has prioritized solid waste management across the country, and in so doing is boosting the capacity of its staff to address this critical issue. Shanta Gobadan reports.
Along with institutional strengthening, capacity building is being given emphasis at the Ministry of Communities to address the burning issue of solid waste management. In this regard, the ministry has sent 2 of its staff to Japan to be trained on the issue.
That's a problem throughout the regions. It's not only a coastal problem. So we have them. They will now have workshops with the regional personnel within the regions, and to see how best they can manage this solid waste and even water, potable water.
Proper sanitation and solid waste management is essential to society, business, and the economy. As such, the Ministry of Communities is promoting combined management of solid waste through its approach titled Integrated Waste Management Strategy. The plan will result in an integrative solid waste management system that is efficient in the storage, collection, transportation, and disposal of waste. It will explore initiatives resulting in marketable byproducts for the agriculture, energy, and construction sectors. In pursuit of this strategy, the harmful impacts associated with the Hagsbush landfill at Eccles, which functions as a dump site rather than a landfill, and the numerous landfills found across the country will be addressed. This will be done to increase the quality of service to citizens in a sustainable environment. Minister of Communities Ronald Bulkan said this administration will treat this issue with the seriousness which it deserves. It will solve the problem of managing solid waste. With this government news brief, I am Shanta Goberdan reporting.
That has brought us to the end of the government news brief on Monday, January 11, 2016. All our programs are on our website. You can also find us on Facebook and YouTube. Remember to send us your Guyana Nice photo. Here is ours.